Hello. Recently I covered the Made for this meta and all of its infamy. And if that's the case, hello. Thanks for sticking around. Made for this had a relatively short reign over the game of just a few months. However, believe it or not, another combo was introduced before Made for this was nerfed. On the Nicolas Cage BTB, we saw a buff to the perk Buckle Up, which allowed a survivor to pick up a teammate from the ground and give themselves and the teammate 10 seconds of endurance. For those unaware, the endurance effect causes survivors to tank a hit that would normally down them, meaning that for the next 10 seconds, these two survivors would be, for lack of a better word, invincible. While 10 seconds might not be a long time in the real world, in a game like DBD, where every second counts, it goes without saying that these 10 seconds would give these two people a chance to reach a pallet or a window without much issue. Also keep in mind that if the killer hit them during those 10 seconds at all, the survivor would be granted a huge speed boost to gain more ground on the killer. Personally, I think if you had to go and pick up the survivor for the full second by yourself, then perhaps the perk would have been relatively okay, if not super similar to We're Gonna Live Forever. With the Chains of Hate chapter, we saw the Deathslinger and Zarina Kassir enter the game. Zarina released with Off the Record, which on release was really bad for a long time, and now is incredibly strong. And the subject of today's video, For the People, which has always been a good perk but never enough to break into the meta. The perk allows you to trade a health state from yourself to any other teammate. This perk can be used in an attempt to try and counteract tunneling or to quickly end a killer's snowball once they leave that person on the ground. By itself, For the People is a perfectly serviceable perk. However, it turned Buckle Up from a strong perk into a ludicrous combination that I'm shocked even made it out of the PTB. If you aren't sure what this combo allowed to happen, when a survivor went down, a second survivor could run up during the killer's weapon wipe animation to use the combination of For the People and Buckle Up to immediately pick them up and give the survivor and themselves 10 seconds of endurance. While the first survivor who used For the People is now broken for the next 60 seconds, meaning they cannot be healed to the healthy state, the other survivor has no downside to being picked up from the ground, except maybe needing to mend if the killer hits them too. Now, if this perk could only be used once a game, then maybe it wouldn't be an extremely strong combination. But when you realize that technically this could be done every 60 seconds, and not only that, but multiple survivors could also have it, the combination becomes a bit gross. This was a shadow of the old school insta-heals that allowed survivors to pick up a teammate with zero agency from the killer, meaning that the killer would have no chance to stop the pickup animation from happening if the survivor activated it while the killer was on cooldown from a hit. 10 seconds of endurance gave players more than enough time to make it to a window or a pallet to prolong the chase even longer. And the kick in the teeth while killer players were down, this combo was usable during the Made for this meta. Which meant that yes, survivors not only have 10 seconds of actual invincibility, but at the same time they were able to move with 3% haste due to Made for this. Which was a disgusting combo that made the average Dead by Daylight match much more difficult for the killer to keep under control. Now, much like Made for this, that we talked about in another video, this combo hurt the weaker killers much more than it did the higher tiers. Like most things, Survive with Friends teams were able to get value out of it very easily, however, even solo queue teams could easily get value out of it. Killer instinct is to swing at someone right in front of you, especially if they appear out of nowhere or get up off the ground out of nowhere, so a lot of the time survivors could pick someone up and immediately the killer would swing, giving the person the endurance hit as well as the speed boost that comes with that. If this perk were used during the endgame, that was basically it. Survivors could walk out the exit gate with For the People and Buckle Up. Even if that wasn't enough, the others could take hits, or if another player had the perk combo, it could be done again. Killers like Nurse, Blight, and Spirit, who could hit you and hit you again very quickly, suffered much less than the killers who had to just either wait 10 seconds and be hopeful they can catch you in time, or that they could hit you soon after you made it to another tile to play. However, while these stronger killers had less trouble with stopping the survivors from getting value, they were still hit hard by the existence of the combination. So in one way, it is good that the combo did counter the best killers, which is something that is ideal for a survivor perk. However, at the same time, this perk combo absolutely destroyed the low tier killers, which is, less than ideal. I don't understand what made behavior look at this combination of perks and decide it was a good idea to allow players to do this, with the only setup necessary being that you're within the same area code as the survivor who went down. Now that example especially was without a doubt extremely rare, however an unbelievable amount of distance can be covered by running in a straight line by a survivor who has 10 seconds to get as far as they can. Once again, paired with Made for this, they're able to get extremely far. So now that I've discussed the combo as it was, let's talk about it today. For the People works exactly the same, which I'm grateful for because, quite frankly, I think it's a fantastic, fun perk. It's strong, but it's somewhat niche. Buckle Up went from being an extremely strong perk that gave survivors an extremely strong tool to avoid dying, to now being a still pretty decent little perk that gives a survivor who has been picked up from the ground a 50% haste boost for 5 seconds to help the down survivor, but not the one who picked them up, importantly. The combination of perks still works somewhat effectively today as an anti-slugging or anti-tunnel combo, however without the guaranteed invincibility. The survivor who is down is still relatively in danger, while the survivor who used For the People to pick the teammate up is in more danger, which is good, due to For the People being a perk that promotes ensuring the well-being of a teammate. I mean, come on, it's literally in the name. For the People and Buckle Up went from an obnoxiously strong combination of perks to something that could help to try and prevent tunneling in matches by giving the killer a target who was just as weak and much closer, in the form of the broken survivor who had just used FTP. Well, now that the meta is gone, what exactly are my thoughts looking back on it? Well, honestly, back during this meta, I was a defender of it, but towards the end of the meta, I started to feel a bit gross about it. Anything that could make half the team invincible for 10 seconds, plus give them a speed boost if hit, I don't even know how that makes it to live servers. While FTP and Buckle Up took a bit more setup to pull off than something like DS and Unbreakable, the strength was still not justified by simply, pressing a button on your down teammate that you were close to. While it wasn't necessarily a meta combination at the time, due to just how strong generator perks are for survivors, I remember running For the People and Buckle Up along with Made for This and Hope because why wouldn't I? 2 combinations of perks that can absolutely destroy a killer's pressure immediately and leave them desperately trying to get back into a match that they just can't. We've seen bad metas, and while FTP and Buckle Up might not be the strongest ever, it's without a doubt in my mind one of the most annoying the killer player base has ever seen. All of the pressure was wiped away because some smug dweeb ran up and said, "Now do it again," and then ran off to the nearest tile while you desperately tried to get the first hook of the match. Having your pressure immediately ripped away at the beginning of the match is incredibly bad, I think that goes without saying, and For the People and Buckle Up allowed that to happen very easily. So with all that being said, I think it's pretty clear where I personally stand on FTP and Buckle Up, but do let me know where you stand in the comments below. Please do leave a like if you enjoyed. To you guys, it's just a button, but it does quite a bit for me. Subscribe if you're interested in seeing more of my content. I have quite a bit built up at this point. I stream on weekdays in the morning at Central Standard Time. You can join the Discord, linked in the description below. It might take a little bit for us to get you guys in. We have a verification process, so... But my Discord and Twitch are both linked if you want to check those out. Once again, my name is Kassir, and I hope you guys have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is. And I do hope that I will see you next time. Goodbye.